It's the big Saturday, the Saturday that we've been waiting for, to see the lads get into action, and hopefully you drum up the support that's needed today as Zambia hosts Mauritania today at the Hero Stadium. The game kicks off at 15 hours sharp. And welcome to Off the Pitch. I'm your host Amos, aka Amore, and I'm not alone on set. I'm Augustine, who we are going to run through the game that's being played today, and we'll look at the fixtures of the FAZ League that took place in the table to see after the 10 games who is leading the table. Augustine, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Amos. We return all the glory and honor to the Most High God. We thank Him for the gift of life and good health, and would like to thank all the viewers out there that have tuned in this morning to be with us.
We apologize for Angorabson, who is being held up with one or two things, but hopefully he'll be in studio next week to join us, because today we'll be with him covering the Zambia versus Mauritania game. All roads leads to the Heroes Stadium to drum up support for the lads. Augustine, before we get into more details, what's the expectation for today?
I think nothing but a win. I think we just need to end these qualifiers on a very, very high note. It hasn't been very, very pretty for us, and probably we are out of the race to qualify for the World Cup qualifiers. But if you look at the points, I think we need a very, very good goal swing. I think there's a goal difference of like 9 goals. We'll need Tunisia to drop points, all the 6 points that they have for the grabs. They need to drop all the points, and we need to win all our games with a very, very good goal difference. And
we will all the international lads, or maybe we call them professional, who plays outside Zambia, those who are playing like basing their trades in Europe, we're in, but we will miss the likes of Enoch Mwepo and Edward Chilufya. And the doc, the Zambia national team doc, gave an update in terms of what's happening with those guys. If we can just have that video courtesy of Faz to hear what the doc had to say concerning the two lads. We'll be right back after this short video.
I wish to confirm that we have received the foreign-based players except the two, that is Enoch Mwepo and Edward Chilufya. These haven't come because of the injuries which they sustained during the games at their places where they are playing from. Enoch Mwepo has injury in one of the muscles, the adductors, in the hamstrings, so him is unable to join us. Same with Edward Chilufya, and they are receiving treatment from their base, of which they are unable to make it for these games, which will take place soon.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the Pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African Time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite National Matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chiluba are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
That's an update that was given in terms of Enoch Mwepu and one Edward Chilufya to why the lads are not in. It's because of the injuries they sustained. But to the viewers, to our surprise, we've just we got shocked when Uncle Robson has just joined us here on site due to the change of programs that's there. The journey that he has to go to has been moved to 12 hours, and he decided to say, hey, anyway, let me chip in the show to give out an overview in terms of the game. That Uncle Robson, my apologies, I thought the bus has already left.
No, you are very right. Actually, apologies to the dear viewers. I would have left like an hour ago, like I communicated earlier. But there's a change in the program. I'll be leaving after 11 o'clock, and I decided to quickly rush here and probably make it for the show. And here I am, glad, doing what we do best. And it's always a pleasure to be here, Augustine.
Yeah, it's good to see you, miraculously.
Thank you so much.
For the love of the game, Uncle Robson, for the love of the game. And I'll even start with you, Uncle Robson. We've heard the update that was given. Are we going to see any changes in terms of the play style? Because we're expecting to have Edward Chilufya and Enoch Mwepu in the squad, but due to injuries they sustained, they won't be here.
Well, the biggest change that I would like to see in the squad this afternoon is probably in the goalkeeping department. We've seen a couple of errors that Sirio has made. Of course, he's a developing goalkeeper with a lot of game time in South Africa, and a lot of brilliant saves that he has made for the national team. And of course, we can't take away the fact that majority of the time that he's been in goals, he's performed very well. The few errors that he has made as a goalkeeper have also costed us. We can't ignore that fact. But when you look at the form where Tostan Sabata is at the moment, I think it's just worth it. Of course, we have not forgotten how Jerry pushed 5 behind his line. We haven't forgotten about that. But when you look at his current form in South Africa, keeping 4 clean sheets, winning man of the match back-to-back games, I think he deserves to be given a starting berth in goals ahead of Sirio.
I think when coming here with Augustine, that's the debate that we had on our way, because Augustine had asked me that question to say, hey brother man, where based on Chambeshi you have a very, very big headache for me today, because looking at Tostan Sabata and Sirio Muya, Augustine, you didn't give me your answer. In fact,
I think it's very, very tricky, to be honest. Who do you pick? Do you pick the guy who is really on song? He's been playing very, very well for his club, Tostan Sabata, and Sirio Munyachi hasn't seen a lot of game time for his side. So it's a 50-50 thing. Do you go with someone who has played with this back four that probably Quicksilver will use, probably the same back four? The guy who has consistently played with them, who understands them, or you are going to bring in someone new into the frying pan? I think to me, it's at this time where we have reached that as a country, we are not qualifying for the World Cup. It's clear. So now it's a time to start experimenting, to start changing personnel, to try and see if it works. If you are constantly getting bad results, you start changing the personnel and changing the formation. Now it's a high time. I think Tostan Sabata has done very well in South Africa. It's not an easy league, and he's gone there. He's probably the best goalkeeper in the South African League at the moment, and I feel he just needs to be given this starting berth going into this afternoon encounter against Mauritania. Sirio has had his own chance, and I think sometimes he's done well, other times he's looked poor, but if you look at it overall, Sabata, I feel, should start because he deals with crosses far much better than Mwiniachiwe, and he starts play very, very well. He's very, very good with his distribution. I feel Tosa should start.
When you look at, we are playing for pride.
There's a lot of pride at stake that we need to maintain getting into this game, and like we have just finished dissecting about the goalkeeping department in that particular position. The only thing that I can also add is, you know, I watched one game. I was watching the highlights in the South African League where Tosta actually gave an assist. The game was being played. He got the ball. He kicked. He made one kick to his striker, and his striker only made one touch. And they scored. That is the type of ball distribution that you need in the goalkeeping department. Away from the goalkeeping department, there's a lot of pride at stake that is at stake today, and getting into this game and just showing Mauritania that we are the better squad. Mauritania is not a small team as well. When you look at the draw they got against Tunisia, it shows that they are also developing when it comes to the development of football in their country. So it won't be an easy match, but of course, when you look at a couple of comments from the players in camp that were giving the pre-match interviews, I think they're up for a queue. The morale is quite high in the squad, and everybody is talking about a revolution in how Zambian football should go forward from now. So we expect a very, very tough game. The interesting match really is actually Tunisia versus Equatorial Guinea. Interesting fixture. It can go either way really. Of course, Tunisians have got a very, very good goal difference. Getting into today's game with 8 goals against, they haven't conceded any apparently, and it's an issue of position 1 who's sitting on 10 points playing against a position 2 who's sitting on 7 points, and now the 7-point guy needs to do everything possible at home to get to 10, and hoping that Zambia, the morale that we are going to build after we beat Mauritania, when we beat Mauritania this afternoon,
that confidence,
we are going to get into a game against Tunisia and probably shock the rest of the African continent by giving it to Equatorial Guinea if they can do their homework today. I can assure you the level of confidence that is in camp, we should be in a position to beat Tunisia back in their own backyard.
But let's look at the calling of Klings Kangwa. We heard the coach saying he replaced Edward Chilufya. But looking at the form and at the peak at which Klings Kangwa has been of late, we saw the goal that he scored against Zenit St. Petersburg, Augustine. Do you feel like he was supposed to be a replacer, not someone who was just scored earlier?
I think Cleans should have made the first squad when it was called. I think if you look at the team, you look at Spencer Sauto. I had questions, what has Spencer Sauto done for Zesco United this season? Yes, he's a good player, but has he started the season very well? I don't think so. And Gorapton talked about Kelvin Kambama Muanga. He hasn't started the season very well. So you wonder, how do these players get picked ahead of Klings Kangwa, who has been doing very well in the Russian league? It's a very, very top league in Europe. I think if you are playing for a top side like Arsenal Tula, scoring against Zenit St. Petersburg, a team which goes into the Champions League,
not
against
just
the likes
scoring,
of Chelsea.
yes. Just scoring, a brilliant
goal,
yeah.
Which won the goal of the month. I think to me it was a very, very shocking decision to see that Klings was absent from the squad. If you want to build a squad of hungry, talented young lads, I think we need to pick probably the best bunch. I think the most disappointing part about this selection, I think, is that we just cannot have those golden generation from the under 20 together. I think it's always this either Fashion is not there, Patson is not there, Enoch Mwepu is not there, or Emmanuel Banda or Edward Chilufya. This was the time when we felt we were going to have all of them at once in camp so that we can pick the best starting lineup and try and build a team around these young lads. But it's disappointing that it hasn't happened for whatever reason. I just hope in the near future we'll have all the boys together in the camp so that we can try and because they've got the chemistry and the understanding, so it will be easy for them to blend and gel. So we just hope that in the near future, in the coming qualifiers, we'll have everyone on board. And if you look at these qualifiers, I was looking at the table in the morning. We lost it. I think we just lost it on our own, because after that crucial away win in Mauritania, that would have been the stepping stone. If you look at the way most of Africa Cup and World Cup qualifiers are played in Africa, if you maximize points at home, 9 points, you collect 9 points, and 3 away from home, probably you have got a chance of topping the group. We have seen this over and over again. So we started very well in Mauritania with a 2-1 win, which Prince Mumba and who's got the other goal? Prince Mumba and yeah, I think Prince Mumba was one of the scorers. Yeah, we won 2-1 away from home, and coming from home, that's where we started losing it. We lost 2-0 to Tunisia. Then we went to Equatorial Guinea. It was always going to be 50-50 away from home. You get some poor officiating. You get some. So it's always tricky when you play away from home in Africa. So you have to take advantage of your home situation. If we would have beaten Tunisia, and we would have beaten Equatorial Guinea, today we would have been saying a win.
I like his English.
Yeah,
it gives us confidence that one day we'll be okay.
Exactly. So if we,
but when is that one?
Just
if we would have if we would have just beaten these Tunisia and Equatorial Guinea in our home games, today's game would have been probably the game which would have taken Zambia into the last qualifying round, which is the knockout phase, the home and away games, which you see which teams qualify to the World Cup. Because if you see the way the groups have spanned out, who would have thought Mauritania would have gotten a point out of Tunisia? So it's our own doing. If we would have gotten those 9 points at home, plus the 3 we got in Mauritania, Zambia would have been warm and dry and would have been knocking on the door at for the Qatar 2022 World Cup, and we just mess it up with our home games.
We're also live on our Facebook page. That's Camnet TV. You can follow it, like it, and you'll be able to watch us live from there. And you can also call in to give your view in terms of what's your prediction on today's game. That's the Zambian game between. Oh, that's Zambia against Mauritania. We are hosting Mauritania. And the other question is, for me, the other question: who should start in the goalpost? Is it Tostan Sabata? Oh, Mwenyachiwe. That's the debate that we are having.
Sanjase? He's been doing very well for Zesco.
Well, it's a very tough call. At this point in time, I think the battle is not between the 3, it's between the 2. When you look at the bringing in of a pro from South Africa to come and boost the team in camp, it gives you a picture that the battle is actually between the first choice and the one who's been brought in. To bring in a person who is coming from the local league and you try to compete, yes, it's very good, very good. Gregory Sanjase has been very good, and he's done his best at Zesco, except for the last game where Green Eagles did a lot of injustice to Zesco United. But he's been very fantastic in goals, to say the truth. But for today, really, the battle is not between Sanjase, and he knows the story very well. The battle is just between Tosta's form, which everybody has seen across the continent of Africa and probably the rest of the world, that the guy has been doing very fine in the last 3 months, and he just deserves to be in those sticks this afternoon. In the sticks this afternoon.
Augustine.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think I personally think Tostan Sabata will start. Looking at how he started the season in South Africa, I think it's always tricky when you go into a foreign country, and he's gone there and he started his career very well, right on track. I think with his ball distribution, his judgment when it comes to aerial balls, I think Tostan Sabata will be very key, and I think Tostan Sabata will start.
You know, before we wind up anyway on today's game, let's look at we've looked at the goalkeeping department. Let's go to the defense. Who would you prefer starts and Gorapson, the back 4?
Well, very yeah, it's a tough one. I'm sure he's going to use the same players that he's been using. They've been very fantastic. The likes of Dominic Chanda have been very good. Benedict Chepeshi has been consistent as well, both for the national team as well as the club. He's been very good. My only worry is on the left side of the pitch. I had an opportunity to watch in the near future, if you ask me. I would actually incorporate Rodrika. I watched him against Kansanshi Dynamos. He's got a very, very good left foot, and I think he was misplaced in the first game at Zanaco Football Club when he came. He arrived and he straight away went into the left side of the pitch and he was attacking, and he didn't do very well. When immediately he was dropped back to play position 3, I think he's been very, very consistent. So left back, at least we've got competition that has come now. So Prosper Chirwa, yes, he's going to play. He's likely to be given a nod to start on the left side of the defense, and that would be great for me. The centre backs, Dominic Chanda. For me, Dominic Chanda should be partnered with any other person. I know there are a lot of people that are competing to play in that centre half, but I think credit should go to Dominic Chanda. He's been very fantastic for Cabo Warriors as well back in the local league. So I am not too sure who's the best player to pair him. The likes of Isaac. It's a tough call, really. Very, very tough call, if you ask me. Very, very tough call, because that's one of the positions that if you really want to attack these Mauritanian sides, you know that Kelvin Kapumbu has that capacity to drop back. You can use 3 defenders and he
that one has gone to the formation.
he can actually drop back and protect Dominic Chanda together with his 3 other defenders. If you want to add more fluid in the midfield by putting the more attacking midfielders to go forward. But otherwise, if you are going to play the straight back 4 against a team like Mauritania, something different should happen today, really. We shouldn't be like Sosha, who goes with 5 defenders in one game and he still loses a game. Let's do something very different this afternoon. Yeah.
Who are you vying, Augustine, for the midfield position? That's the defensive and attacking.
I think probably we'll go with 3 midfield. We've always gone with 3 midfield and 3 up top. And I think the way Emmanuel Banda played against Equatorial Guinea will start as the holding midfielder again today. But if you look at the game and the magnitude, Emmanuel Banda, yes, being played as a holding midfielder here at home, if you want to attack, it's very, very good. It looks pretty when he's on the ball. He's very, very good. He is a good passer of the ball. He can pick a pass in a deep area. He can try and knit the midfield and the attack together. He will start probably ahead of Kapumbu, in my own opinion. And ahead of him, I probably will see either Clins Kangoradi while they are partnering Cletus Chama Chota. Chama will start in the 2 attacking midfielders. It's probably Clins or Radiwalia who will start with him in that central midfield. I think probably that's my take in the central midfield.
Going forward, Dangorapso.
Well, going forward, up front, of course, if you ask me, I would... I'm not too sure whether it's... There's been a lot of stories going around these players that are in camp, actually. A lot of on and off the field stories. And I'm not too sure how psychologically strong the players are to go and play in this kind of a game with the stories that are going around. Of course, we are not interested in the stories that are off the pitch. We are interested in the stories on the pitch. But I think the psychology aspect of it should play a very, very important role to be psychologically prepared for this game, because what we've read in the past 1 week has been not too good, and we only hope that that is brushed aside and the focus just remains on the game. Cletus should start, probably for me, on the left side of the midfield. I would actually go for... I would pick Lubambo to play on the left side of the midfield, and probably on the left side of the attacking, I would put Fashion on the other side, because Patson will remain up front. Then on the right-hand side, well, I don't know why I have a soft spot for Kelvin Mwanga. I know it's... But I think when you really give him the confidence to start a match, he really plays, if he has to. But I think on the right-hand side of the field, I would prefer... I think Kelvin can start on the right. For my personal opinion, I think I know that guy and how psychologically it is to sit on the bench and to be put to go in the field of play when things are not okay. Then they expect a miracle from you. That is the more reason why these players probably play at that level. But I think the front 3, I would prefer those 3, if you ask me. Why? Because set pieces, we need set pieces, and we know what
Kelvin can do on that.
What Kelvin can do in terms of delivery of those set pieces. We have 2 speed strikers that we are using this afternoon in Fashion and Patson. I think proper passes, proper weighted passes, if Kelvin Mwanga wakes up in the right form, those passes that come from Kelvin, well, they should be good enough to damage the defense of the Mauritanian side.
But again, Uncle Rapson, I liked what you said earlier when you said on such a game it would be best to just go with an attacking mind. What's there to lose? Because why should we go with 4 defenders?
I think if you go with 4 defenders, it gives you the right balance. It gives you the right dimension, if you ask me, because 3 defenders, there's no team in our league which plays 3 defenders, and these defenders from the clubs, they come from, no one plays with the back 3, so it's very, very tricky for them to try and play a back 3 in such a scenario. We saw it against Algeria, it collapsed. It was a very good approach, very good idea. Micho had strategized the game the way we would have attacked the Algerians, but it was very, very tricky for us to try and play.
We adjusted within 20 minutes.
Exactly. So if you have got the caliber of wingers we have in the national team, Fashion Sakala is a winger, Luambo Msonda is a winger, Kelvin Kapamba can play as a winger, why play with a back 3? Because when you're playing with the back 3, meaning you take away those wingers, you start playing with wing backs. And we do not want to play with wing backs. And mostly, in as much as people look at it as the back 3 as an attacking formation, it's actually the opposite. It's a defensive formation. It's a formation of teams who are trying to be very cautious, congesting the midfield, and when you lose the ball, you drop back to back 5. Yeah. So I think, to me, it's not necessary to play with a back 5. I think a back 4 is always pretty. We have got attacking fullbacks in the team, Prosper Chiruba, the guy from GBFC, Jacob Ngurube, yeah, Simon Sulimba, Benlich. These are attacking fullbacks. They will provide you with the width. They will try and support in attack. So I do not think we should go with the back. We should just stick to a flat back.
What's your prediction, Augustine, for today's game?
My prediction is 3-1. I feel Fashion Sakala is in a very good factor after scoring his first hat-trick just a couple of weeks ago. I feel we will banging a goal this afternoon for Polo, but 3-1 will be a very, very good result. It will, I think, if I look at this,
even giving them chance to score
3-1, yes, they will score because our defense is not that solid. So they will score. So if you look at these games, it's a stepping stone for us going into the next qualifiers. Let's take these games. Let's take all 6 points so that we build confidence for our next qualifiers. We need to see character today. We need to see strong mentality. We haven't seen that in a long time from Zambia. We need to see pretty football. We saw a bit of that when we played Equatorial Guinea, but the mentality aspect looked weak towards the end. We need to see that change. We need to see characters building up this game.
Uncle Rapson, what's your prediction score?
Well, Augustine has just opened up my mind. You know, when you are a patriotic citizen, you always want to win by
keeping a clean sheet.
Keeping a clean sheet. But I've just been reminded that our colleagues at the back,
the defense,
they are used to conceding. But I think, in the interest of the goalkeeper and the confidence that the goalkeeper brings in the squad, I think we are going to manage to keep a clean sheet today. I can predict a 2-0 scoreline for Zambia.
Anyway, let's take a look at the predictions that our friends are giving on our Facebook page. We've got James Nkandu, who is saying Zambia will win by 2-0, like you've predicted, Uncle Rapson. And we've got Mavuto Daliso is saying Zambia 2, Mauritania 3. And we've got Ben Kangwa, who is saying I will predict after the game. We've got Abraham Zulu, who is saying Zambia 1, Mauritania 3. And we've got now Crispin Sikota, who is saying Zambia is winning by 3 goals. The goals will be scored by Daka, Fashion Sakala, and Emmanuel Banda. And then we've got Gifty Samundengo, who is saying Zambia will lose. And
the good part about this prediction, there will be goals at Hero Stadium.
At least,
but what's with Ben Kangwa? He will predict after the game is played. So I don't know if he's predicting the next game.
I think what Ben is, the picture that Ben is trying to share with us is that Zambia is no longer predictable. You can't know what you're going to get with.
Full of surprises.
So instead of him being surprised, he would rather wait for the result and actually comfort himself to say, this is what I was thinking. Perfect thoughts.
And the last one, Kefasi Zimba saying Zambia will win by 3-1, like Augustine said. I think a lot of people are saying Zambia will concede. And we'll just take a very, very short break and we'll be right back with more interesting information in football.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chuluwa comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Augustine spoke something of how Fashion Sakala banged his first hat-trick under the mentorship or under Steven Gerrard, and we saw Steven Gerrard leaving for Aston Villa, and a lot of players. And I'll go to you, Ango Rapson. How will this affect Fashion Sakala's form?
Well, the confidence that the coach leaves in the player is a situation where I think he's leaving at the right time. If you ask me, what hasn't he won domestically in the last 3 years? He's won all the 3 titles, every local cup back home. Gerrard has done everything that you need. I think for me, his departure from Rangers heading into Aston Villa is nothing but a personal career growth that he wants to pursue now, which is very, very good, because you can't continue in a league where you are dominating, yeah, and you can't get any challenge from any team. So for me, his departure is very, very good. What that does to our player, Fashion Sakala, is that he needs the confidence that the coach has been giving. We saw how Gerrard has treated the player from the very, very beginning. He said, this guy is good, he's quick, but we'll take our time as a club to make sure that he starts maturing to a team that is perfect.
Let's just speak this coin. Hello?
Hello?
Yellow, good morning,
Hello?
sir. Yellow, good morning, sir. We've lost that caller, Ango Rapson.
Yeah, so I think for me, the departure of Steven Gerrard to Aston Villa, what it has done is, like I was saying, is Fashion Sakala has already been nurtured enough. And we have seen the last few games he's been starting in the starting 11. At this point where he has left him, even if a different manager comes, it's a situation where he has to continue in the same state. And given an opportunity to start and continue in the same state, Fashion will continue banging in the goals and will probably establish himself as one of the best strikers that he has. And the departure of Stevie G to Aston Villa might also mean that the attributes that made Fashion join Rangers, as seen by Steven Gerrard himself, because Steven Gerrard wanted a quick striker, and he identified Fashion Sakala to be one of those that will come and do the job for him. That's the same problem that Aston Villa is facing back home. And it could be a good stepping stone for our own to join his colleagues into the EPL. I think that's my view about that.
Augustine?
Yeah, I think interestingly, Steven Gerrard went into Rangers when Glasgow Celtic were running riot, almost winning. He was tasked to stop them winning 10 titles in a row, and they were at 9. So Gerrard joined them when Rangers had were going through a very, very tough patch. They were failing to qualify for Europe. Steven Gerrard went in, identified a very, very strong backroom staff. I think one which is Ali McAllister, whose Fashion has spoken highly about after his departure. He brought him into the football club to try and help Rangers get high up the table. We've got a caller.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Your name and where you are calling us from?
Hello.
Come again? Hello?
Your line is breaking.
I try. The line is a bit bad.
Yeah,
You can keep on calling, but I don't know what's wrong with network. But you can keep on trying calling and give us your view on where you are watching us from and what's your prediction on today's game. Augustine.
So like I was saying, the Rangers identified Gerrard, and Gerrard, the way he worked, he trusted his backroom staff to try and do the right things. He put specific people in specific areas. I think his scouting team was very, very brilliant. Gerrard scouts players. He goes physically himself to look at players. I think he recommended Fashion Sakala, and they brought Fashion Sakala to the football club, meaning Steven Gerrard had seen something nice, something wonderful about Fashion Sakala. And when it didn't start so quickly for Fashion Sakala, he had injuries, and Gerrard had the patience to help him develop into a better striker than he was when he was at Ostanda. And if you look at Fashion Sakala, probably one of the big reasons of him moving to Rangers was because of Steven Gerrard. He wanted to play under a manager who has already done it in world football. I think it was a very good learning experience for Fashion Sakala. And rumors that are coming from Scotland is that Guillaume van Bronckhorst, the former Dutch left back, is being linked to the job to take over as coach over Steven Gerrard. He was at Arsenal, he was at Barcelona, he also played at Glasgow Rangers, so he understands the football club, and he's one coach who was at Feyenoord, brought a lot of young players through the academy. He works very well with young players, so it's going to be very good for Fashion Sakala if they can get a manager who loves to work with young players. It will be very, very good for him to get forward in his career.
Rapson. You want to disagree or agree?
No, I totally agree with him, except on the other aspect which he mentioned, which is okay for now. But I think
which other aspect?
The new coach who's joining Rangers who likes playing with young players.
Yes, Fashion Sakala is a young player.
No. I'm saying the coach who likes playing, the one who managed to bring the academy players at Feyenoord and brought them into the main team. Yeah. That is what we need in terms of development when it comes to dealing with youngsters. So all the best to Fashion Sakala as he plays under the new manager, and hopefully he gets a stepping stone to join Aston Villa in the EPL.
Okay, let's we'll divert our attention now into our Super League, where we saw the games played of week 10. And if we can just look at our fixture after week 10 games, maybe we'll be able to discuss something from there. And perhaps I hope you're able to see from there.
Yes.
That's the table after week 10, where Zesco United has only played 9 games and Kansanshi Dynamos has also played 9 games. We've got Zanaco, who also played 9 games, and Red Arrows, who have also played 9 games, and they are in the relegation zone. The table courtesy of one Bwezani Mbewe.
Well, interesting enough, GBFC has continued to show that they are unstoppable, but if you can check their last 3 games, they haven't been very, very good. That might lead into a slump that is going to be expected very soon, and I think they've managed to stop quite some big teams along the way, and for them to sit on that position is not an easy thing. Kudos to Justin Chinamandi's technical bench for being in that position at this point in time. Disappointingly enough, Red Arrows, where they are after this couple of games, very disappointing. Probably their focus is on the African continent, where they are still participating in the Confederations Cup, but clearly the league table will soon start shaping up, especially after we get into the second round of games. For now, very, very, very difficult to comment on whether GBFC can be regarded as one of the contenders for the top slot. Very, very difficult, if you ask me. The owners of the league also slumped. When I say the owners of the league, the dominant in the last 10 years has been Zesco United, and we saw them slump against Green Eagles, and a very, very disappointing result there for Numba Mamba and his team. And Green Eagles, I think for once, it was also a great relief for the coach, who's had a very, very bad patch of late, and to go to Zesco and beat them in the backyard was a very, very big success for Green Eagles.
Let's look at the let's look at an interesting fixture that we had, August, in the last game, or maybe the Green Buffaloes versus Ghana game, an interesting game where someone just said, we were watching the game and then my cousin comes to me and says, you see, Alex Ngonga will score. And the guy scored.
No, we've got a call on the line.
Okay, let's just pick this call. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning.
Good morning, sorry.
I'm Francis from Azabuka.
Oh, okay. You can go ahead with your contribution.
Rather than me discuss with the draft again, why can't you discuss the way forward? After Sunday, she will report to coach goals. What will happen? You know, Santa self recruit a coach. When they recruit one, they find in it. We all know that the coach needs time to work with the players and to infuse these philosophies into the players' mind. No wonder we are turning competitions into factories or military maneuvers. Thank you very much. I want you to discuss the way forward. What happens when the show?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, he's raised a very, very important question.
It's a very
what
question.
happens after Chambeshi?
Well,
Quicksilver.
that for me, if you ask me, the big man is very correct to discuss what we are expected to plan. The future needs to be discussed now. But I think that is a story that we need to leave for the administrators, because remember, Chambeshi's reign is just between now and probably Tuesday to see whether it will be extended. Has it been extended?
Yeah, wasn't it given?
I think it has been extended.
It was
December
extended up to.
But the critical games that we are discussing now are just today and Tuesday. Then we are home and dry. So probably that can be a good topic for the coming.
Week. Yeah.
Like Angorapson said, Tuesday we're back to the drawing board. But for me, I'll just look at it. We need to fix two things at once: the short term and the medium term. I think what we need to do, if we need to combine short term and medium term right now, because what we need to do is that we need to scout for players in Europe who have got Zambian roots, especially defenders. We need defenders to come into our team to try and rectify the problems that we are facing. We try and go into Europe. Let's try and scout best, very good, there are decent Zambian players with Zambian roots who are playing in Europe. Let's try and convince them to try and come, and like what we did with Mayembe, we try and convince them to try and come, and we saw that competition.
But again, where is that lad who brought?
It's not being called, because this is a different coach, it's a different government, it's a different system. They are doing things their own way. So I think what we need to do in the short term, let's try and identify young Zambians who are in Europe, to try and bring them into the national team. And then we need to try and sort out the coaching issue. Are we going to go with Chambeshi? If we are going to go with Chambeshi long term, let's give him a contract which will be performance based. If it will be 2 or 3 years performance based, and let's make sure he comes in full time, not him being a Ghana coach and the national team coach at the same time. If we are not going to go with the route of based on Chambeshi, we need to go for a maybe foreign coach who ticks the boxes that needs to be ticked to be a Zambian national team coach. We need to have first, he needs to take charge of that dressing room. I think we do not have rules probably in that dressing room. If I look from afar, we need to have leaders in our dressing room. I think the captaincy is not very, very confirmed. Who is the captain of the national team? It's neither here nor there. We need to rectify that. We need to have a coach who have a certain style of play which will match our style of play. That needs to be very, very crucial. We need to have a coach who players will look up to and will be confident that this guy, whenever they go and get staff, will give us the right information to try and execute.
You know, just coming in with regards to what Augustine has said, I think for me, it's a very, very easy thing to do. Even naturally, all of us here, we are employees somewhere, somehow. And when you are given a very short-term contract, you know that you are capable of being very mindful of what you are doing, because you don't know what the future is.
Yes.
So when you are given a very, very short-term contract, even your actions and activities will probably be there to please whoever is your appointing authority for that short period. Why? Because you need to protect your job. So when based on, for example, if he's given a 2-year contract, he even signs it, and you even know that for the next 2 years I will not be fired. If I get fired, I will do it the Mourinho way. And I'll get more money out of it. Then you are giving the coach the freedom to freely pick the players who are going to be identified by the technical bench. Of course, they propose names and the coach makes the final say. But I think that freedom gives him the leeway to make the correct decision to bring the correct players to the national team.
Because you have enough time to go around the league and look at players who are really playing well, not just players that it's like at the police office, the police station, an OB book. You try and see, is he in the book, okay, is there, then you call them, like Spencer's out, what has he done for Zesco United? We have got Lamex Yame was being called up, what was he doing for Zanaco? He wasn't even playing.
Not,
so I think,
he hasn't even seen anything.
Yeah, so I think we do not need to see this controversial collapse. We need to have players that we're confident with as soccer fans. We look at them in the league, they play very well, and they come in. And probably what people of Zambia needs to hear is about the long-term project. We need to go into the schools. Let's try and revamp schools football. Let's try and, if we can, get back to the Airtel Rising Stars, where we try and have strong provincial teams so that we can have a very good youth structure. I think that's where we need to go. We need to go to the grassroots, because that's why we've lost it as a country.
So in short, we need a long-term coach.
Yeah, that's why I've talked about two things. Short-term and medium-term, we need to deal with them now. We need the coach who will come in and take charge of the team, who, not probably when you go into the dressing room, probably Fashion Sakala or Person Daga is bigger than you, because that's what happens most of the times. The players become bigger than the coach. We need a coach who will be bigger than the players, like the way it was with Heverena. Heverena was bigger than everyone in that dressing room. That's what we need as a country at the moment.
Hey, you know, we started a topic for next week, coach. Going back to our league, tomorrow we are having a game that's Red Arrows hosting Kafue Celtic, and an interesting game, Augustine, for you. I'm sure you'll be there to cover it. Are we expecting any different result from this game, knowing that Red Arrows won't be with their skipper?
Yeah, very, very tricky fixture for Red Arrows, if you ask me. I think if you look at Kafue Celtic,
he can play. He plays today and tomorrow.
If you look at Kafue Celtic, they are very, very tricky sides. They are attack-minded. They've got 3 attacking players. One who was with Red Arrows last season, Mwiza Siwale, is doing very well for Kafue Celtic. Albert Kangwanda looked out of sorts at Zanaco, but he looks a different player at Kafue Celtic. So they are very, very interesting going forward. Their team will not sit back. They will attack you. They ask questions. And playing against a Red Arrows side who haven't started the season very, very well.
Use the correct word. Use the correct word.
Which correct word?
Very poor this season.
Yeah, who've been very, very poor, you have to be honest. Red Arrows, they are not consistent with their results. I think if you look at a couple of games ago, they went to prison, picked up a very, very
sorry to cut you short. Sorry to cut you short. In as much as you've been very poor as Red Arrows, you even go and get a player like Twiza Chaivera to come and play for Red Arrows.
Who would you take? Iketiama from Southern or Twiza Chaivera from Kawaras? Nkana takes leftovers. I think Twiza is a better player than the players Nkana taking. Iketiama, really?
No, we are discussing Red.
No, I want to throw out.
Why are you bringing Nkana football club? Is Nkana playing tomorrow?
No. We are only having Red Arrows.
Nkana went and got Bob Chansa from Kansas Dynamos. What is Bob Chansa doing at Nkana football club?
Red Arrows is playing
tomorrow. No.
You're moving away from the topic.
I think he's brought in a situation whereby Red Arrows have brought in Twiza Chavira. What has Nkana brought? Bob Chansa from Kansas cannot even pass.
Rescue us here.
Okay. From the last league 5 games.
Let me pick it up from Twiza Chavira. Yeah, Twiza Chavira has come from Cow Warriors to Red Arrows.
What does he do at Cow Warriors?
This is when he scored 2 goals. He was probably one of those Cow Warriors players who scored with Jimmy Ndlovu. 2 goals is more goals than.
That guy is lazy. I would describe how lazy he is. He's very good on the ball when he wants to play. Defensively extremely poor, and he takes a walk. So the ball can be passing where he's standing. He will not harass it, and that's a player that you want to bring. That's as good as bringing a red card in the team.
No. My question is, if you are a Red Arrows coach, who do you play? Twiza Chaivera or the guy they got from Indian Ricky Banda? Who do you play? Ricky, I've never seen Ricky Banda score in the time that I've covered football. He was at Indiana. I never saw Ricky Banda score. He was with the under 20.
So he was with the
under 20 in South Africa. He was with,
and I think
he was with the under 20 South Africa with the young Derek Bulai. What did they do? They helped Zambia get eliminated because they were missing chances after chances. Red Arrows came and got Ricky Banda. He cannot score.
Are you agreeing?
You go and get a Twiza Chayvera. Twiza Chayvera is all-round plays fantastic. Twiza Chayvera bullies defenders. Twiza Chayvera always runs at defenders. The only undoing part of
I wish we could have any Cabo Warriors fan to call in and just finishing.
I think his finishing is the only poor side of Twiza Chayvera's game. If you have to be honest, his energy levels are very, very high. What did he do to Tungana Football Club at Ghana Stadium?
Augustine, you know, I would like one of the callers who represents Cabo Warriors, those who love soccer and have been watching soccer. For them, what I've seen, the departure of Twiza has been a very good blessing for Cabo Warriors.
What blessing? What blessing for Cabo Warriors, Twiza? Twiza almost won them the league in the transition. Do you remember what it was?
No, but we were talking about the current Twiza's form. What has it done for Cabo Warriors this season? Literally nothing.
He scored 2 goals.
Okay, let's get back to the game. The game is being played tomorrow at Ngoloma Stadium. And looking at the last 5 league games that these teams have had, they have the same statistics, if I may say. In the last 5 games for Kafue Celtic, they've drawn 3, won 1, lost 1. Same to Red Arrows, they've lost 1, won 1, and drawn 3.
And you know the beauty about Kafue Celtic? They have no representation in the national team. They are intact. Red Arrows has got 2 players,
Yes, Prosper Chilu
and defenders. And they will play today, and probably they will play tomorrow.
They want to play for Red Arrows tomorrow.
It's possible they can play. We have seen that. They can play. It's very, very possible. We've
seen that they can play.
But when you look at the current crop of players you have, when you look at the replacements on the left back, of course you may decide to settle for Joseph Lungo on the left. On the right, you have who's that?
I think they go with Chalo Water,
Chalo Water, the short light guy,
former
Riuna defender. So those are the alternatives that you have. But at the end of the day, when you look at the current form and where you are sitting in the red zone, would you like to prefer to rest the 2 players when they play for the national team today, or play them tomorrow and get a positive result? Remember, why I'm even worried about your 2 wing backs that are not regulars when Prosper and Benedict are available is that when you look at the strength of Kafue Celtic, I've watched those boys 3 times this season. They are very lethal in attack, very lethal, very poor at finishing. If they can only get a striker to join Kafue Celtics now, who can be finishing those chances they have, Celtic would be a very, very good squad. And tomorrow's game will be very, very interesting if you ask me. I'm not taking anything away from Red Arrows. Of course, it was just a battle between me and Augustine. So Red Arrows is a good side, but I think tomorrow to be an interesting encounter because Kafue Celtic's form is on the rise. Red Arrows, they are very lukewarm. They can either drop or they can actually surprise you.
I think if you look at Red Arrows, I think probably these are games that suit Red Arrows more. Red Arrows do not like to play against a team who sit backs and hit you on the counter because Red Arrows get hit more often than not when they play a team which is playing on the counter attack. They would like a team which attacks them so that they can have spaces to attack. If you look at the way the game panned out against Power Dynamos, Red Arrows created a good number of chances but couldn't finish. So they like a team which likes to come at them, and the only victory which has come at Ngoloma Stadium was without Benedict Chepesh and Prosper Chiluya. They were away with the national team against Queen Eagles. So probably Chisimbe will trust these fullbacks to do the job again for him tomorrow afternoon against.
So it reduces the selection problem.
Yeah, but it's going to be very, very tricky because Celtic are a very good team and they are very youthful. They are very, very confident.
And away from that, on the 17th, that's on a Wednesday, we've got games again. We've got Forest Rangers hosting Indeni. We've got Kafue Celtic against, they will be hosting Green Buffaloes. We've got Beautycon hosting Chambishi FC. We've got Green Eagles hosting Kansanshi Dynamos. We've got Kongola Blades hosting the Mighty Ngana. And then we've got Lusaka Dynamos hosting Red Arrows. We've got Nkwazi hosting Zanaco. Power Dynamos versus Kawe Warriors. Prison Leopards versus Zesco United. Any interesting fixture for you here?
Double header on Wednesday makes my week. There's Kafue Celtic, I think, playing at 1 o'clock, and I think Kwazi is playing at 15 again. And those are big games. I think the first game will be Kafue Celtic versus Green Buffaloes. That's a cracker of a game. The lads under Joe Walia, I think they play a free-flowing football. And it depends on how they fare against Red Arrows tomorrow. It might demoralize them for the Wednesday's encounter. If they are demolished by the Airmen tomorrow, it will probably a recovery game on Wednesday where they need to salvage something, because probably going into that midweek and hoping that they will do a back-to-back loss, it might mean something else for them. Then again, on the other side, the way it works again, they might get a very good results against Red Arrows tomorrow and probably get on the relaxing mood and probably get into Wednesday to face the league leaders with a very, very mild approach to that game. I think for me, that would be the biggest game of the week, of the midweek. Kafue Celtic versus Green Buffaloes, and this is probably the only team where we are likely to see Green Buffaloes dropping points again. I don't see them beating Kafue Celtic on Wednesday.
You don't see Joe.
Second game,
you don't see Friday Sam scoring.
He can score. He can score. That's his job, and we shouldn't be very happy when a striker scored, because that's his job. When you come for work and you're doing what you've been employed to do, it should just be normal. That's not extraordinary. So for me, a striker's job is to continue scoring, and we'll continue clapping that he knows how to execute his job. So for me, I see him scoring. Yes, he can score, but I think the caliber of Kafue Celtic and their defenders is very, very, very good. And I think those lads, what they've done, what Kafue Celtic has done is basically to put confidence in the players and just to allow them to play. They are youngsters and they really play quick football. Very, very good football. So for me, the second match again, when you look at Nkwazi versus Zanaco Football Club, the bankers are coming back from a very, very bad patch, and they're trying to find their feet so that they start playing some good football to take them where they belong. Because where we are seeing them, they just managed to swim out of the relegation zone not too long ago. And if you see how the points are there at the bottom, you sleep once, you get back to the zone. So it's a very, very tricky encounter. And where Nkwazi is silently, Nkwazi and the Makinka guy, all they do is they focus on training. 7 games in a row, no conceding. They focus on training. They win games. They don't use the media. They are just quiet. Look at where they are now, and they are very quiet. And they are in a very, very comfortable position to play continental football. And with their hard work and commitment, they could be a surprise back in the top 4.
I think if I look at it this week, after week 10, I think my pick, I will just go for Clifford Mulenga. The impact is had at Forest Rangers. I think for me, I saw him last Thursday when they played Red Arrows at Nkoloma Stadium. The way he would pick up those pockets of space and create is very, very intelligent. His movement is brilliant. I think you would wonder, these guys from 2012 are still playing at this level and doing very, very fine. Where are the young ones who are coming through? And the disappointing from Forest Rangers when they signed Bonu Mwape. We thought, many people thought we had Bonu Mwape. What has he done at Forest Rangers? This is week 11. He hasn't scored any goal. Bonu Mwape was a flop of a signing for Forest Rangers. But I just hope they just rectify their problems in defense, because they have been good going forward. They have been scoring goals, but they are just conceding a lot of
Remember
goals.
That story we discussed when the transfer was announced that Bono has left NAPSA and has gone to...
Exactly.
We laughed about it.
Yes.
And this is week 11. They are going into week 11. The guy has never seen a goal being given to his, to being credited to his name.
You know, as we wind up, just the quick comments again from Facebook. We've got Rashida Musonda, who is saying 3 goals to 0, but I don't know if it's in favor of Zambia or in favor of Zambia. And we've got SLP, who is saying Zambian football is in the wrong hands. Chambeshi doesn't know the importance of not conceding. And we've got Ignatius Nyambe, who is saying 2-0 in favor of Zambia. Your final remarks, Uncle Rapson.
Well, getting into this friendly this afternoon, interesting. I think the name.
You confuse the viewers, Uncle Rapson. Going into the World Cup qualifiers game this afternoon.
Oh, it's a qualifier. Oh, okay. I didn't know. Sorry, it was a slip of the tongue. Getting into this friendly. Oh, sorry. Getting into this World Cup qualifier against Mauritania this afternoon. Pride is at stake, and I can only ask the fans out there to flock, to go to Hero Stadium in numbers and cheer the boys. Give them that 12th player on the pitch support that they deserve. let's show them love even as we start rebuilding towards a great national team that we have been in the past and where we want to be now. I think it's been a rough 8 to 10 years that we have gone through without anything tangible coming to our name as a country. We are no longer a force to reckon with on the African continent when it comes to football, and I think it is only wise that the rebuilding process starts in a game where you are not putting pressure on the coach, you are not putting pressure on the players. They should just go in that game and freely slot those balls behind the Mauritanian goalkeeper. So all the best to the national soccer team as they get into that game, and we can only wish the lads all the best. And tomorrow, Red Arrows, all the best, Augustine.
Thank you. I think for me, going into this crucial World Cup, I think all I need to see from the Zambian players is they just need to roll up their sleeves, pull up their tokens and get working. I think we need to see a performance this afternoon at Hero Stadium. We need to see character in that 90 minutes. They just need to show what they're made of, and I just wish the boys all the best. Thanks to all the viewers out there that tuned in to watch our show. We really appreciate your contribution, and I would like to thank the entire production team for making this program possible. Thank you. See you next time. Next week.
All roads lead to the Hero Stadium where Rapson said we pump in a lot of support, and we are going there to support the lads as they play a crucial World Cup qualifying game. But anyway, on behalf of the whole entire production team, Elijah, not forgetting Isaac upstairs there who is doing the Palanga Shaiti, and not forgetting Pastor Moses and Victoria Chilua for giving us this platform to give you all the information in the world of sports. I've been your host, Amos aka Amore. Don't go away because Amazing at Amanda is coming on your screens with the weekly gospel show. We're out. Bye bye.